Hi out there, it's Odin with Rainy River Outfitters, and today's a special segment. I'm down here in Gillett, Wisconsin with Wes, the owner of High Falls Forge, and we're going to take a tour of his shop today. We're going to learn sort of his process that he has going on here. I heard about Wes because he builds premium knives, and he does a fantastic job, and stay to the end for a surprise. We're here today with Wes Janish. He owns High Falls Forge. And today he's going to go over basically what's got him into the forging and where he's going to be going with this in the future and how long he's been into it. So without further ado, Wes, take it away.
Hey guys, my name is Wes Janish. I own High Falls Forge. I make knives. And short story on how I got started, I was a knife fanatic since pretty much birth. At 8, I was already drawing knives, swords, everything. At 10, I was reading books on how to temper, how to heat treat, how to grind, and by 12 I was creating blades in my dad's garage by tearing up all his stuff. He didn't appreciate it at all, and he pretty much banned me from making any knives at all whatsoever. And fast forward 30 years, he dies and I get right back into making knives, and within 2 months of it I'm already selling. So I took it upon myself to make a business out of it, and that's what I'm doing now. And that's how I feed the kids and the wife.
Wes, how did you come up with the name for your forge?
Well, we ended up moving to Crivets after my dad died, and we're like, well, we rented a place right in Crivets, which we hated. And after about a year and a half of that, I found a beautiful place out by High Falls Reservoir, which is in the Twin Bridges area. And we got lucky and were able to rent out this beautiful brick historic home right next to the High Falls Dam. It became my home, my heart. I love that place more than anything. And I decided if I'm going to name anything, name my business for the place that I love, and so that's why it's called High Falls Forge.
Fantastic. Would you mind go ahead and give us a tour of your shop? Wes, tell us a little bit about your equipment and how you use it.
Okay, so this is my 2x72 grinder. It's made by Fear Industries, P-H-E-E-R. It is a powerhouse. It's a 2 horsepower motor. It's got variable speed setting. Belts for this machine are quite expensive, $75 for 3 belts.
Oh, wow.
And I'm using Norton ceramic belts. I start with 36 grit, I go to 80 grit, then the 120 grit. Then I go on I move around and use that little guy to polish at a higher grit, stuff like that. This is my, just a bandsaw, not special, Harbor Freight. It's a real kind of a piece of junk, actually.
And what do you use that for?
I cut handles with it. I cut, wood. I use all sorts of different handle materials. Like I have this stuff right here. If I can find it. This is called G10. It's a fiberglass material. And this would be going on one of these buoys up here.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
But they come out spectacular. These things are...
What kind of blade is that used for?
Big blades.
Okay.
It could be used for anything, really. Just okay. So you want to use as much of this material as you can because it's very expensive. So I always go with bigger weapons, bigger knives, even like kukris, stuff like that. So yeah, and then I use wood, beautiful wood, for smaller blades.
Check out that knife right there.
And then they're all dirty, but still need to be cleaned up. That's mahogany.
Oh, very good.
This is black walnut. It's not very black, but it's what I have.
That's definitely sharp.
Yeah, they're not even very sharpened yet, but they will be. Oh, the wood itself though, the wood is beautiful. I love mahogany. This is my original grinder I started off with. This is a 2x42. It's a Palmgren. I paid about $500 for it back in the day. I've had it for 5 or 6 years now.
So it was a good investment then.
Yeah, it was a very good investment. I recommend, if any of you all want to start on knives, I recommend 2x42. Never 1x30. They're too underpowered. There just isn't enough there to do anything. Save your money, buy yourself at least a 2x42.
We're going to be watching Wes do a little bit of beveling here, and we're going to move on to the next segment as we go on. So check this out.
Alright, so we're going to start with what they call swedge grind. Swedge grind is the top grind. And it gives you that nice look but false edge. And then we'll move to the bottom bevel. So here we go.
What does this process help?
What?
What does this process help?
Well, it gives me the bevels. It shows me, it gives me the shape of the blade.
Wes is going to tell us about his jig and why he uses it.
Alright guys, so this is a magnetic bevel jig that I've kind of produced. A lot of people might give me a hard time because I use a bevel jig. The way I look at it is, it's a tool. It allows you to get a good, perfect bevel, and it eliminates waste. And steel is not cheap. So let me tell you, I mean, steel that I'm using right now, just this steel right here, each blade by itself is worth at a minimum $40 to $50. Just
wow.
steel. So the last thing you want to do is waste it, and that's why I use a jig. But a lot of people are out there are proud they're freehand grinding, and to them I say, get yourself a jig. And next we're going to be doing a little bit of the bottom bevel here. And when I introduce it to the belt, that's called a plunge grind. Okay, without taking up too much of your guys' time, I'm not going to sit here and bevel each blade for you. I already have one already shaped and ready to go. This is only the initial bevel. I'll be going back at it again at 80 grit and 120 grit. But right now, what I do is I create the bevels and then I harden the blade. And that gives me the guide on how I want to look after it's done being heat treated.
Wes is moving on to show us how to quench the blade. Love that sound.
It's a good one. Yeah, careful, that flame comes up to about here.
Oh, wow. So Wes, what is the process of hardening this steel?
Basically, what I do is I normalize the blade, which you heat it to critical temperature, which is about 1800 degrees or non-magnetic, and you let it air dry. You let it air cool till it's touchable, till you can pick it up again. And then I'll go back in and I'll do the same process about 3 different times. It's called thermal cycling, and that'll align the molecules and allow the molecules in the steel to relax. And once that happens, you heat it up one more time, and that's when you submerge it in a quench oil. I use canola oil. Other people use other things like regular motor oil or actual quench oil that's made just for this, which is about $40 a gallon. So
Oh, wow.
I try not to buy that. I use canola oil. It gives me the best hardness I've ever had. Every blade comes out diamond hard until I temper it. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Could you tell me the difference between a propane forge and a coal forge?
Yeah, propane forge is much more controllable. It's cleaner. The coal forge is dirty. You get a lot of nasty fumes that come with it. The temperature is, you gotta really understand coal fire to be a pro at it, because coal burns very hot. I found many times when I started off using a coal forge, I burned through steel. I would burn the steel literally up.
I can understand
come out
that.
with a 3-inch shorter blade, So I decided to go, and it's cheaper this way too. I'm okay with paying $20 to fill that up instead of having to find coal somewhere. So.
Understandable. Tell us a little bit about your forge and why you use it.
This is a new forge I just bought. It's a 2-burner. My original forge is the one in the back. It was my wife's idea to buy a forge that has the same shape as the previous forge, so that way if I need a 3-burner, I can line them right up, which helped me create the last 2 swords I've been working on. I get 33 inches of fire, and I'm able to bring that steel up to critical temp and quench it.
Very nice.
Alright, so now we're going to pull it out of the forge, and we're going to let this air cool. And then we'll do that for 3 more times.
So we're downstairs here with Wes in his leather shop where he uses the leather to make the sheathing for his blades.
Okay, so right now I'm making simple sheaths. These are just folded sheaths. Better for the profit margin. But all I do is glue them.
What type of glue do you use?
Leather glue. It's right there. Leathercraft cement. It's really durable stuff. It literally it's amazing how good it is at gluing the leather up. It makes the leather become one whole piece. It's ridiculous. And then what I do is I take a board, put as much pressure as I can onto it, and clamp her down.
And that helps it hold the shape then?
Yeah, exactly. It'll hold the shape and it'll compress it so all the leather dries, or all the glue will dry and hold all the leather together. And then I'll end up hand sewing it together.
Oh wow, so all of your sheaths are hand sewn.
Hand sewn.
Right here in shop.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Wes, tell us a little bit about what your sheaths are made out of and the process that goes into it.
Okay, so I make them out of edge tan leather from Tandy.com. And like this is one that's in the process of becoming ready. I'm going to have to sand it down, and then I'm going to have to add a line here. I forget what it's called, but it'll allow me to drill holes through the leather, and then I'll have to hand stitch it. Usually what I do with brown is I'll do like a black stitch, and I actually have some examples I can show you upstairs if you like.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
So,
have you ever injured yourself while making any sheaths?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had one incident that I was watching TV while I was sewing leather, and the leather needles are no joke. They're like 2 inches long and the size of a small drill bit, and they're like razor sharp. And I was pushing through, and leather can be a bit stubborn at times, and I was pushing and pushing, and all of a sudden the needle came out underneath my fingernail.
Ah.
It went all the way through, and I showed my kid, and my kid started freaking out and crying, and I pulled it back out. Blood followed, and But I had to go to the doctor, and even the nurse was like, "Did you get a picture?" I was like, no, I did not. So
He puts a lot of heart, soul, and blood into each one of these.
Exactly.
Wes, thank you for showing us the process of how it goes to build these sheaths. Do you have anything that you could show me that is a finished product?
Actually, I just do. Yeah, right here. This is actually for the knife up here on the wall. It's just a very plain jean knife sheath, hand stitched, black leather, but it's black leather dye.
That's really sharp.
And then this guy, I actually stamp, and this is for one of the bowies I'm making. It'll fit in that.
Oh, wow.
So it's got the stamping. And
I like the attention to detail you have on that.
Thank you, thank you. It's a lot of work.
So Wes, tell me about the next step of the process for the sheathing.
Oh, it's very simple. Right now, you can see it's kind of uneven, but there's, I believe it's called a wilt. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it, but it's a piece of leather in between the two that allows you to fit the knife in. And, but like I said, it's uneven, and we've got a full centimeter of that wilt in there that gives me the room to play with it and sand it down, which is what I'm going to do right now.
Is there a special kind of grit sandpaper you have to use for that?
I use the same sandpaper I use for metal. This is a 36 grit. It gives me exactly what I need. It grinds that leather down real quick, real fine, and I'll even go up to 220 or 240 grit to get a nice polished look. But
So right here you're looking at Wes's almost finished blades. You take a look at them, you can see how shiny they are, but there's still a few steps left to be done. Wes, what are those steps?
well, right now, a couple of them are already done. Like you can see some dried epoxy on both sides there. I don't know if you can see that. What I'm gonna do real quick here, like here's a bunch of epoxy in there, and I don't want my blades going out like that. So I take like my 4th Dremel this here, and I clean them up. And how I do that, we'll take the one that's most noticeable. It's a little wire wheel is all it is. And that's to clean off without damaging the wood or the metal. Just to clean off all the epoxy.
And that gives it that really sharp, defined look.
Exactly, yeah. It gives a really good, clean transition from the handle to the blade.
So Wes is going to have me grind out a bevel. He's going to let me try it. This could end in catastrophe, or it could be great. I don't know. I've never done this, so be prepared to watch how this goes down.
Go ahead.
All right, let's give it a shot, and let's hope I don't mess this up too badly.
Okay. A little smoother. And
Smoother?
yep.
All right. Wes is very patient, by the way. I gotta say, this is actually kind of satisfying. I'll tell you guys right now, I'm no master in any of this, but watching Wes do this, he makes it look really easy. I'm gonna let the master take back over though. Watch how Wes does that. He just has a perfect, smooth transition down the blade. Look at that spark bed he's throwing off of there. That right there is what years of experience looks like.
Alright guys, so we're at the last heat treat here, or the last thermal cycle. Now I'm going to quench the blade. Alright,
And what do you use to quench it?
It's canola oil. I think it's made from sunflowers.
Okay.
Vegetable oil works really well. Canola oil, motor oil, anything that'll cool a blade, cool metal quickly, will give you, you know, it will make the blade as hard as it could possibly get. And then after you quench it, you don't want to wait too long. You want to get it in a temper oven, depending on the kind of steel, which is, this is 1095, I believe. Yeah, 1095 steel. I want to get it in the temper oven, which is just my little oven for 400 degrees for an hour, and I do that twice.
Very nice.
And let's hear and check to see if it's hot, if it's hard or not. And how we do that, we use a file. You can hear that. That's nice and hard. When it glides off the blade and it doesn't catch, that means it's hard. It's harder than the file.
Very nice.
So, there you go.
Fantastic. Thank you, Wes. As promised, I've got a surprise for you guys today. So, we've been with Wes. We've been here at High Falls Forgery, and we've watched how he goes and he does all this knife making and everything. But the big surprise, the big thing is we're actually going to be doing a giveaway. Wes was kind enough to provide us with one of his really nice blades right here. Check that out. This blade right here is going to be up for our giveaway. So what I need you guys to do, go ahead. I need you to hit the like and subscribe button, ring that little bell, and in the comments down there, I need you to put in your state, and I want you to put on there, I want this. And once we reach 1,000 subscribers, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a name out of the hat, and we're going to do the giveaway. I really appreciate your guys' time, and I really appreciate Wes over here for allowing us to come to his shop.
No problem. Glad you come.
And I want to just end it because we're running out of time here for the day. Just remember to get out and explore the great outdoors.